Hi, it's Polly with Get Busy Thriving. I'm here in front of my happy bus, and I wanted to share today about a shame mask. And it's a mask that a lot of women that I know, and a lot of the coaching that I do, people who are kind of hiding their habit, their bad habit. That can be binge eating most often, bulimia. Some people I know that I work with are closet smokers, or giving up drinking, things like that. But whatever it is, it's something that they wear this mask of shame because no one in their life knows what's going on. And I myself know the feeling of that because I had an eating disorder for 20 years, and I remember the hiding out, the not wanting to be seen, kind of no one knowing, this feels like a dirty little secret because we feel like we have our life so put together. A lot of the clients that I work with are very high achieving women. They're CEOs, they're top athletes, they're if you knew that, like if you knew about this and knew who they were, you'd be like, wow, these people have their act together. But for whatever reason, and there are reasons, they get in their own way with their eating disorder. And so they walk around with this mask of shame that keeps them from being able to be fully seen and realized, because shame's a dirty little monster. I was rereading some information from Brene Brown, who I think has done an amazing job of sharing research that she's been doing on shame for years, both in a TED Talk and just, she's got wonderful podcasts, and she's on Oprah and all this stuff. And I was rereading her 3 tips to breaking the cycle of shame, and what she says. I have a page of her blog open right now, and she shares, people who have high levels of shame resilience, meaning they don't let shame get to them, or they know the difference between guilt and shame. So guilt and shame. Guilt is, I did something bad. Shame is, I am bad. They turn it around on themselves and they see themselves as bad. So people have high resilience to shame. She says they talk to themselves like someone you love. I would say to myself, God, you talk so stupid, Brene. I would never talk to my kids that way. So, people who have a high shame resilience, they talk to themselves in loving ways. They wouldn't beat themselves up or berate themselves. She says they reach out to someone that they trust when they're in need, and they tell their stories. She says that shame cannot survive being spoken. It's like as soon as you can share that story. So, my website used to be all about sharing stories of recovery and what's going on with people, so that people felt safe to share about that. And I took some notes and some things that I've been seeing. I've got this 30-day challenge that I'm running with my Facebook fans, and in this secret group that I have, and I'll be continuing to hold groups like this, a safe container for people who have, let's call it a dirty little secret, because that's what creates shame, is you feel like you have this dirty little secret that you can't let anybody in on. Because, for most of the people, like I said, they're high achieving people, and having a crutch or an addiction doesn't feel like something a high achiever should have. Like, we should be able to kick this or do better than this, especially when it goes on for a long time. 20 years for me, and the people that I often see and work with, 5, 10, 15, 20 years. They've been either working on it or not working on it, or have given up or whatever, but the shame still goes on. And I just wanted to share a couple things. So if you have a dirty little secret, or you feel ashamed of a behavior that you're perpetuating, there's nothing wrong with you. I just want you to know there's nothing wrong with you. There was nothing wrong with me when I had my eating disorder and I was hiding behind this mask of shame. Yeah, I was doing things that I had a pattern going on that I hadn't broken out of, and I was creating it. So I felt responsible for it. I felt like it was dirty. I felt like it was, like people wouldn't understand, and people don't. Okay, whatever. More people, I think, are beginning to understand about eating disorders, bulimia, binge eating, what triggers it and things like that. But I just want you to know there's nothing wrong with you. You are totally okay. And yeah, you have some patterns, and there's some things that I would love if you look at my blog, my website, more of my YouTube videos, that you can change this. So just know inherently you're not broken, you're not bad, you're just doing things to yourself that you can correct. So there's nothing wrong with you. You just need a little bit more information, a little bit more maybe motivation to get there. And I want to say, I understand the way that you feel. So in order for shame to live, it has to be like a secret, and your secret is safe with me. Like, I get it, I've been there, and I just want you to know there's another person in the world who has walked in your shoes, who's come to the other side, who's in the light, and understands what you're going through and where you are right now and why you feel the way that you feel, because I felt it. Like, I know what shame feels like. I know what a lot of shame feels like. And what I wanted to share too is I've been coaching a lot of people, and I'm putting together a program right now about, I would never go back to binge eating. I would never do that to myself. I made a decision in 2005 that I would never do it again, and I never have. And so I took that mask of shame off, and I started to share my story. Yeah, it was my story of the past. Like, I used to have this eating disorder. Now I have a website, and I do YouTube video and all this stuff. So I'm not saying you have to do all of that, but begin to share your story. I invite you to share it with me. If nothing else, I think there's great healing and great connection. And I know when I walked into an Overeaters Anonymous meeting, gosh, this was probably like 1990 or 91, and I heard someone else's story, I felt so connected, like, wow, somebody else got me. So if it would make you feel even an ounce better to just write out your story and send it to me, I would welcome it. I would welcome it. People do that to me, all that do that to me. They honor me with their story all the time. Some of them, they're okay with me publishing it. Some of them, they just want to share it so they can get it out there. I welcome that. So if nothing else, know that I understand where you are. I've been there. There's another human being on this planet that has empathy for you, like true compassion, totally get where you are. And I know those dark nights of the soul. I get them. And I also know that recovery, lasting recovery, is totally possible. So I just wanted to share that. And I want to share that perfectionism is a common trait. Perfectionism, high achieving, all this stuff are like common traits. And perfectionism is probably keeping you where you are. So I want you to stop calling yourself a perfectionist today. Like, perfection, if you ask me, is a really low fucking standard. I would say excellence is a great standard. Like, always, up for your best and doing your best, but not to some made up or, hard to achieve, like stretch yourself, but like perfect, like something your parents made up or society made up, or who knows where some of the things that are in your head. I tell you, we all have a Miss Perfect up there, and she's relentless. And if you can get her out where you can see her and start recognizing her voice and her pain in the ass expectations, and you can start living from your loving voice, start honoring yourself and who you are and how well you are doing in the world. For gosh sakes, let go of perfectionism and just start honoring yourself with self-care, self-love, rituals and practices of nurturing yourself and taking care of yourself and positive self-talk. And I just want to say, work on you. Work on yourself. Continue to work on yourself and never give up. And I can tell you from being on the other side, every time I say that I will never binge again, I feel like I don't have to put that mask on ever again. I never have to have like this layer between me and people, something that I'm always like, gosh, are people going to know? Like, maybe somebody could find out. And, in my 20 years, a couple people found out. My mom, I was living with her as a teenager. That wasn't hard to figure out as many times as I was doing it and as sloppy as I was about it. But, we're really good at hiding that secret. And that dirty little secret just festers, and it hurts, and it makes you just want to say mean things to yourself. So I invite you, no matter where you are or what country you live in. I have people from all over the world who send me their stories, and just to get it out there. And I would love to hear 2 stories if you do write me. Tell me the story of your past, and tell me the story of what you want. Share the story of the life that you want. What is your story after you release yourself from this dirty little secret? What does it start to sound like? What's possible for you? If you can live a life that has no shame in it, one that's free and authentic and connected to people, and your true self gets to come out, no more shame mask. What would that story sound like and look like? What would you be? What would you be doing? What would you be capable of? Who would be in your life? Like, share that with me. I would welcome that. I hope this has been helpful for you. Until you make that decision, that ultimate, you have that enough moment and you decide and you choose to have a higher standard for yourself, not a perfectionist standard, but a standard that you'll never binge or have your addiction or whatever you want to call it, whatever is plaguing you, you'll never have it again. That shame mask is only hiding that beautiful face, that beautiful soul, that beautiful spirit that lives within you. And it's time to come out. It wants to be seen. That's why it hurts so much, because you're keeping it from being shared with others and being fully received. So I say namaste to you, and I would love to hear from you. I hope this was helpful.